welcome to Chamber Insights. I am Philip O'Rourke, the Executive Director of the Yellow Springs Chamber of Commerce, and this is the place where professionals share all types of industries, all levels of expertise, but this is the time where you are able to sit down and listen and hear some of the tips, some of the advice, and some of the perspective of the professionals that come on this show. And today is not going to be any different. So today we have recruiter, business, and life coach who helps high achievers align, and owner of Executive Search Associates. Please help me welcome to hear the professional tips and shares, Melissa Mirenda. Melissa.
Thank you, Philip.
You are welcome. Thank you for joining us here on the Chamber Insights. How are you doing today?
Excellent. Very happy to be here in Yellow Springs.
Oh, wonderful. You know, the weather is changing, and there's so many things going on that I like to just highlight the good because there's so many other things that we could jump into. So for you, you do a lot. You do a lot, and I think there is a word or a phrase or a misunderstanding, something between coaching and recruiting and all of these things. I know I love life coaching. I think it's so helpful. But for people who are watching, can you help us kind of demystify what is a recruiter versus a coach?
Okay, thanks. Great question. A recruiter is helping somebody find a job, typically through a client. So I've had Executive Search Associates for 23 years, and clients pay me to find very difficult positions. It's called a purple squirrel, like a needle in a haystack. And some folks might call me a headhunter, which I'm okay with that. So that has funded my business. I've been a life coach for 10 years, and that's just incorporated into what I do with career coaching, speaking to job seekers. And I also take on additional clients for coaching, career, health. It all comes together. And when you're speaking to someone about changing jobs, the coaching comes in handy. Like, what's your life purpose? What do you want to do? What's your legacy? Not just how much you want to make.
And I'm sure that's a huge one. And I'll say, ever since COVID, people had an opportunity to sort of reset because there are so many different opportunities that are available. Some people went very, very, very online. Some people were remote, just period. And let me ask you this, from a recruiter and a coaching standpoint, how has the landscape changed?
Great question. And I'm embarrassed to say with recruiting, it's technology, because when I started out, we used a fax machine to send resumes. So being the technology environment is so fantastic. It enables you to see candidates on LinkedIn. We used to have to do research old school, like on the telephone, the phone book. And
Yeah, wow.
recruiting's like a sales position. So there's a lot of old-fashioned things, and now there's talk about how AI is changing everything and changing recruiting too. Faster sourcing of candidates and screening, and there's still, I believe, like any sector, the human touch to really identify, because you can say, oh, this candidate has this many years, this type of personality, this cultural fit, but there's something intuitive that a person can bring that a machine can't.
I know for you, with both of those, you can go in a myriad of directions. And I would imagine that as the industries start to flex, one, either recruiting or coaching will start to be higher or more in need. With what's going on today in the economy, in the world, all the uncertainty, where do you find that you're investing the most time?
In terms of recruiting or coaching?
Mm-hmm.
Recruiting, because the people shortage and issues in a company is the most highest pain point. But what we're seeing now, and you've heard as well, that mental health's really on the uptick. People versus 100 years ago, nobody went to a therapist, and coaching's not therapy, but we're a close cousin. there's a lot of people and clients that want to take on and learn coaching so they can help mentor, be a better consultant, incorporate it into whatever they're doing. But yeah, recruiting will always be it's a talent, and it's needed. Yeah.
Yeah, I would imagine. I would imagine it's a complete talent because there are some of us who just we don't have that talent.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, for businesses and for the people that are in business, we have a member network here at the Yellow Springs Chamber, and I know everybody's looking to figure out what other piece of the puzzle could they add or do they need for their business. How do you and what you do, how do you impact somebody's business so they say, hey, I need to reach out to Melissa?
Right. Because of course, there could be recruiting, but from a coaching standpoint, business combines into life, into everything. So you have to look at what's a committed result. People come to a coaching call like having an area that they're stuck in and they need help unsticking and growing. So a business owner might not be getting sleep. He might be neglecting health, or there might be, of course, cash flow and business issues, or marketing and sales, business, all types of business things to look at. But it could be, again, addictions. It could be so many things, time management. So I believe businesses and entrepreneurs in particular are the highest stress. They're somewhat of my avatar where they've got a lot of workaholics, a lot of people high driven, high achievers, as you mentioned earlier, driven, and their stress is up there, and stress can kill you. So that's kind of my stand, helping people calm down. I'm also a yoga and meditation teacher. So when you're coaching, I bring all those elements in, like take a deep breath before you go into an interview, or make time for sleep, make time, consider eating better.
Yeah.
Consider if you're holding a lot of resentments towards something, let's look at that. Let's transform all that poison, toxin thoughts in your head. In the coaching program I went through is self-limiting thoughts. There's always, I'm not good enough or better than. And so how's that manifesting in your business? You're not good enough to be this. If you're better than, you're all in your ego state. So there's a lot of talk about getting present and enjoying, and being aware and mindful versus saying, oh, I'll never be as good as Dan Hardware, and I'll never be comparing yourself. And the mind machinery can do so much. So for me, even as just a business owner, it's helped me with my personal growth. A lot of coaches will get coaching backgrounds to help themselves.
Yeah.
I've got better listening skills, better communication skills. Like I teach brevity, how to get to the point. Well, I wanted to share one thing. You talked about talents. I have everyone come through with the coaching, do this a strength finders test with Tom Roth, and it really determines your top 5 talents. It's quite amazing. Really, life shouldn't be as hard as it is, I believe. And when you're working in your talents, and I'm not promoting this, by the way, when you're working close to your talents, it's easy. Like you're a natural creative, you're a natural outgoing. You've got this wonderful YouTube, so there's probably something in here about connecting with people and communications. So I think it's exciting to see people get out of the way, get out of their own way, and even the right job, because we spend so much time in our job. What do you really do? What do you really want to make an impact in your life?
Yeah, I think that is so pivotal. I know for me, I work a lot, whether it's self-imposed work or whatever it is. I might need a coaching session to figure out why. But that balance of it's not just work, it's what makes your life have meaning outside of these things. And I know some of the things that you just unpacked are aha moments for a lot of people, because even as a business owner, there's so many facets, as you just said, there's so many things that go into being successful that are not just numbers, that are not just spreadsheets, but really the person makes the difference as well.
Right. And I was just listening to the One Thing podcast where you need to steer your boat to get to where you're going. So clarity is something with coaching, like where do you want to go? Like where do you want to go, Philip, with your career? Or what do I want to do in Yellow Springs? Well, I want to be contribution to the community. What does that look like? It's also the great unknown. So there's a lot of spiritual tips that I bring in too. Like being a yoga meditation person, I'm very aligned with the arts, the flow, like enjoy nature, enjoy what we have, that we're not consumer material driven relationships. And everyone here seems to want to be not just friendly, but connect on that authentic level. Like everybody wears their own freak flag here.
I love it.
And yeah, and that's what a lot I teach, because if you get out of your ego mind and into your more authentic self and break that down, it affects all your relationships, not just your business.
That is so deep, and that is so true. I mean, you are the one who shows up to all of these opportunities, right? I am the one who shows up. So how am I taking care of me so I can show up and be the best me and get the best results and make the best impact that I can make? These are some deep thoughts here.
That's where I like to go. And and it's your energy and vibration, and not every day is the same, right? But you've always had a lot of energy. And if you're an entrepreneur and a business owner, again, there's more chances for higher levels of stress. And walking in the woods is a perfect way to counteract that.
That is the Glen Helen here in Yellow Springs, Ohio, for everybody out there. That is a perfect way to get centered and all of that. Plug to Glen Helen. Melissa, where can people find out more about you?
Okay, I have a website, www.melissamirenda.com, or if it's recruiting related, executivesearch.net, and I will send you all that information as well.
Wonderful. Well, I am so excited that you took the time to drop off all of this knowledge here at Chamber Insights. I have a lot to think about, and I have a lot to appreciate, because there's certain things that you said, it's like, oh, I really appreciate that. So thank you for sharing that with us here.
Yeah, thank you. Well, in gratitude, you can only have one thought at a time, so it might as well be gratitude, right? So I appreciate you, who you are for this community. Like, you're amazing. I think I can always go to you for information on the chamber and whatnot, and it's wonderful.
Thank you. Well, have a great day, Melissa.
Okay, no. Thank you, Philip.
Yeah. Melissa Mirenda with just all of that, whether it's recruiting or whether it's coaching, we all have some introspection to do about how can we show up to the opportunities that come to us in the best light. Whether you're a business professional, an entrepreneur, maybe you're an executive in another capacity, there's always something that you can learn. Reach out to Melissa and make sure that you tune in here to Chamber Insights, where professionals share, and we will see you next time.
To be a guest on Chamber Insights or to inquire about advertising opportunities, please email insights@yschamber.org or visit www.yschamber.org/insights.